What is up? My name is George, the Sports Freak. So there's 5 quarterbacks this year taken in the first round of the NFL draft, with Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, and Mac Jones being the 5. And obviously, there's going to be flops. So basically 3 of the 5 are going to be a flop or somewhere around that range. At least that's what I've heard from everyone saying. I mean, I think it's statistically, that's the reasoning behind it. Because that's just how it is. Every year they're going to, like, you go back and compare the draft class with Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, Lamar Jackson. You can already see who were the flops in that draft class. And you can probably, because that's the more comparable class to this class, and you can already see who's going to be the flops in that. So it's easy to say that Trevor Lawrence is the most sure thing in this class. You know, I think people are going to hate me for this take, you know, but it's just the situation that he's going to, the head coach, the players around him, kind of, as good as he is, I'm not crazy about him the way everyone else is. You know, when I watch the film, I see mistakes. I don't see this perfect prospect that everyone says. I see a guy who throws a lot of bubble screens and then occasional deep routes on the right and left side of the field. But the system that he's going to, the new head coach in Urban Meyer, who we don't know what Urban Meyer is going to be. He's this guy who could recruit like crazy in college, won a national championship at Ohio State and 2 at Florida. You know, he doesn't know. It's a whole new leap. You know, this is, your players are getting, you're not doing recruits. You're not coaching recruits. You're coaching players who are getting paid millions of dollars. You know, you can't just tell a player, oh, I don't watch him. You're not part of my team. You're cut from the program. You know, you can't do that. You can't just do it like that. You know, there's different stuff. So the transition from college to NFL is going to be vastly different. So that being said, he's going to the team. There's a reason why the Jaguars got the first pick in the draft. It's because they're the worst team in the draft, the worst team in the NFL from last season. And, you know, obviously the point right now, you can say the Houston Texans are right now the worst team because you have no idea what they're doing. But the Jaguars, they were the reason why they're the worst team in the draft class. They got the first pick. You know, usually means they had issues all over the field. You know, this is a young team, young roster. They cut a lot of the veteran guys from the Saxonville era, or traded them, not cut them. And so this team's like fresh. It's young. They made a lot of free agency signings. They had a lot of cap space, so they made those signings. You don't know what you're going to get. I don't know anything about Urban Meyer, how he's going to be in the NFL. So based on that, it's like Trevor Lawrence is walking to this team that, you know, isn't good. It's got some young people with potential, but you don't know. James Robinson was a big, bright star in a very terrible season last year. And then, you know, they went and draft Travis Etienne, which still blows my mind. We'll see if that's a flop or not. It's a good chance it's going to be, because if your offensive line isn't good, it doesn't matter how great your running back is, or how fast your running back is in Travis Etienne. I know they're going to play him in the slot, you know, not as a running back, so we'll see how that works out. But based on the situation, Trevor Lawrence is not going to a good situation. It's going to be a situation where he's probably going to get chased around a lot. The offensive line, it's not that great. It's one of the worst offensive lines, I think, in the NFL. It's not the worst. He's not going to be like Joe Burrow running around. You know, some of the guys, Cam Robinson, they're bringing back, you know, on the franchise tag. These guys can grow. I think they should have gotten more help in the offensive line. I don't think Urban Meyer realizes how important the offensive line and the defensive line is in the NFL, the trenches. He'll learn that. He'll figure that out pretty quickly. So I hate saying this, but I think out of all the 5 quarterbacks in this class, I feel like Trevor Lawrence is going to be the one that has the biggest bust potential because of the situation that he went to. He's gone to a terrible team. And I'm saying this also because I'm not crazy about him being this perfect prospect, the best since Andrew Luck. I go back and watch the 2 tapes, and I don't think it's comparable at all. Trevor Lawrence has so many flaws in his game that people just seem to just forget about. You know, coming from high school, he was heralded as the next thing, the next Peyton Manning, the next Andrew Luck from high school, the number 1 quarterback, you know. So he's just been put on this pedestal his whole entire career, you know. And I'm worried also for him that when he goes to the NFL, people are going to be like, oh man, this guy's not doing better than Justin Herbert, man. He has to do better than Justin Herbert. He's supposed to, you know, and they're going to get frustrated and they're going to start calling, they're going to tear into him. But then there's going to be a side that's just going to defend him no matter what. But based on where the situation, where he's going, I have to say out of all the 5 quarterbacks, he is probably, I'd have to say, bigger chance of being a bust than like a guy like Mac Jones. And no, Mac Jones is very limited compared to Trevor Lawrence. he's gotten to a way better situation. Mac Jones is with the Patriots. He's with the coach that's won the Super Bowl 6 times. 6 times. He's got a great offensive line. Wide receivers is greatly improved. We don't know how good it's going to be, but it's greatly improved. He's got 2 of the best tight ends in the NFL, and Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. He's got a great running back in Damian Harris, and I think Sony Michel is going to be there still. I'm not sure. I don't think they exercised his 5th-year option, but he's going to a better situation, and he's sitting behind Cam Newton. He's not going to be forced out there. And the other guy, Zach Wilson, people are like, it's the Jets. Zach Wilson, one season wonder, it's like watching Mitchell Trubisky, it was just a 1-year wonder, he's going to the Jets. Robert Saleh, his new coach, he's going to bust. I really, really was high on Zach Wilson. I really love his attitude. I know people keep saying, oh, he looks like a little boy, it's that 1 year, the year before he was bad, he could be injury prone, there's this and that, anything. I've heard some good things about him. I've heard his work ethic is actually really good. He loves to watch film. He loves to do all the dirty stuff, what Tom Brady's sitting there, watch hours and hours of film. I know he has I think he's ADHD or dyslexic or something, so he's not classroom oriented, but I think he even said it before that I'm not a guy, he doesn't like sitting in classroom learning stuff, like you do in college, you're learning math, whatever your subject you're learning. He's not that type of guy. He can't sit there and do that stuff. But with football, he can sit there for hours and hours and hours and just break down film, study routes, do everything. And that's what I love in a quarterback. And that's why I've been high on Zach Wilson. And his arm talent is crazy. I just love his arm talent. And I think Robert Saleh is a great coach. I love Robert Saleh way more than Urban Meyer as a head coach. He's been proven in the NFL as a defensive coordinator. What he did this past season with the 49ers defense and the amount of injuries that they had, he took that defense and kept it at a progressively solid level of play. They were against playoff teams. Their defense was outstanding with the amount of injuries that they had, and the way he motivates the players around him, the motivation to be able to speak, to communicate, the leadership that he shows makes me trust him more as a head coach than Urban Meyer. Not trying to say that Urban Meyer isn't that. Urban Meyer's dealt with all that stuff his entire career, but I just trust Robert Saleh more. I love his passion, the smile on his face, the way he speaks. You just want to play for the guy, and I feel that's going to emulate to the locker room and to the guys. And I think they've also handled the situation better with the draft picks that they've had. They got Zach Wilson, and they traded up to get a tackle, and that's very important because you need to protect your quarterback. And then in the next round, they took a wide receiver. They're doing stuff to help their quarterback, and they made some free agent signings. And the defense, they didn't do stuff in the defense, but Robert Saleh, as I said before, he took an injury-riddled 49ers defense, and they played way better than they should have. So I expect Robert Saleh to be able to do the same with the Jets' current defense that they have and with the free signings that they've made. And I just think that's a better situation where Trevor Lawrence has gone to. And the next quarterback, obviously, Trey Lance. If Trey Lance went to the Bears or the Jaguars or even the Jets, I would have said straight away, yeah, the dude's probably going to flop. He's going to be pushed out there. He's a wild card, one season wonder. They had a game for him this past season, and you're just like, yeah, okay. But, his accuracy in the deep ball, it's iffy, his mechanic stuff he's got to work on, it's just like, he's the highest ceiling in the class, but the lowest floor by far of all the quarterbacks. But he's gone to the 49ers. The 49ers took him with the 3rd pick. There was huge stuff. People thought it was going to be Mac Jones. Between him and Mac Jones, Shanahan said, I think before, those are the 2 guys they were interested in. I believe, though, I don't know how many people are saying this, but I believe that it was the pressure was on Shanahan to take Trey Lance because it was like, none of us want Mac Jones. We don't want Mac Jones, even though it's like, Mac Jones fits the mold of quarterback that I want. I've been watching him longer. He was the guy we were interested in. We traded up to 3rd pick because of Mac Jones, but we were going to do our homework on the other quarterbacks. And then after that, we decided we were going to go with Trey Lance. And the media, I feel it was a front office choice that was pressuring Kyle Shanahan to take Trey Lance, But at the same time, I was like, I still think you made the right decision because Trey Lance is our ceiling. But I felt like if you were going to start a quarterback right away, it's like, yeah, you should have taken Mac Jones. But that being said, Trey Lance is there. He's going to be the backup quarterback under Jimmy G.
So he's in a great situation. He can sit, learn, just understand the playbook, not get forced out there, work with the scout team, the second team, the offense, just be in the huddle, learn from Jimmy G, who's taken the team to the Super Bowl. So he's in a great situation. And the fact that Kyle Shanahan is just great with every quarterback, in my opinion. He can make the worst quarterback look decent. You've seen what he's done with backup quarterbacks. He's made them look decent. I believe when Trey Lance is ready, Trey Lance is going to devastate the world, the NFL world, because he's going to be like Josh Allen, but I think he's going to be better, and he's going to be way better prepared, because Josh Allen was forced out there, and Josh Allen, no offense to Josh Allen, those first 2 seasons were god-awful. Josh Allen, his rookie year, I was like, the only reason why you're not going to be taking another quarterback is, first of all, your draft pick's way too in the mid-round, and because your running ability is just saving you. But I think Trey Lance, he's going to do better than Josh Allen based on his first 2 years. He's the great offensive-minded coach, quarterback guru. Well, I can't say a quarterback guru, but a guy who's going to make it where the offense is simple for him to understand if he's forced out there, but at the same time, feeding him more and more and more of the playbook so he understands it more and more and more, and just by the time he's just ready, it's going to be like Patrick Mahomes. I feel like he's going to light it up, Trey Lance, at some points, and I don't think he's going to be a bust. The fourth quarterback, Justin Fields, that is my next quarterback bust. I know people are like, why are you Justin Fields? Dude, Ohio State, he was amazing, UGA, he didn't get a chance because, Jake Fromm, but it's like, he's such a great quarterback. He and Trevor Lawrence from State of Georgia in high school, they were 1A, 1B, what are you, you crazy? Yeah, I'm not crazy, I love Justin Fields. I think I'm shocked, how far he was fallen. I do think there was that epilepsy thing, that medical condition that he has that scared some teams away that nobody seems to talk about. And obviously there's some stuff on his film. Regardless, people are trying to say, because everyone was trashing him, so people were like, why are y'all trashing him? He's good, I'm like, yeah, he's good. But yeah, those films that those games that he played, there was like throws in there that I was like, dude, there's nobody watching this, how he's processing, and his release was taking a little too long at times. But then there are the games against Clemson. You're just like, dude, this should be the first pick in the draft right here, And he's athletic. He's so athletic, crazy athleticism. But he's gone. Justin Fields is going to a team that historically destroys quarterbacks' careers in the Chicago Bears. I'm not trying to piss off Bears fans. He's just going to a franchise I don't believe is going to help him out. They're not going to surround him with talent that's equivalent of another team. Like with Trey Lance, he's going to a team that has talent all around him. Even Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion, has more talent around him. But offensive line-wise, he doesn't have any help, Trevor Lawrence, which is the main problem. But still, offensively, he's got weapons, better weapons. Zach Wilson, he's got better weapons too. And he's going to a franchise where the offensive line's not great. What wide receivers? Allen Robinson, that's about it. And the other guys, they're not there. The defense is good, but it's not a great situation. I believe he's going to get rushed out there. I don't know about Matt Nagy. Yeah, Mitchell Trubisky was that, but I don't know yet. I can't say with a straight face, I know that this, Matt Nagy was held back because of Mitchell Trubisky. Maybe he was. He probably was, but it's just the Bears historically. And Justin Fields, people act like sometimes, dude, this dude's amazing. Yeah, he's amazing, but there are flaws in his game. There's issues on the mechanics, his release, his processing people say he processes stuff well. When I watched his games, I was really impressed more with Ryan Day and his play calling. I think Ryan Day should honestly be in the NFL. If Ryan Day, you're watching this, bro, you need to come to the NFL. I love the way your plays that you design. I don't know if you designed the play specifically, whatever you do, but your play calling is amazing. Justin feels like he's going to a situation where I'm not a big believer in what they have. I don't think he's going to be, there's nothing beneficial for them. And next year they're not going to have a first round pick. I don't think the team's going to be built around him. He's going to have to do it all. Unless he turns out to be like Deshaun Watson, which Deshaun Watson is my comp. I think of Justin Fields as a cleaner, more polished version of Deshaun Watson. But I think still Deshaun Watson had more help. He had DeAndre Hopkins. Texans was a better situation in my opinion at the time. Obviously now Texans is a disgrace of an organization, but the time it was a better franchise than what the Bears are currently right now. I know the Bears made it to the playoffs somehow, but you knew they were never going to win the playoff game. And historically, it's just a place where quarterbacks go to die, and I just don't believe. I'm worried that he's gonna be forced out there. He's gonna be the backup to Andy Dalton, but I don't see that being for long. He's gonna be rushed out there. He's gonna have no help really, and it's just gonna be a shit show. And I don't know, and it'll be a bust. But I could be wrong. I'm always wrong. I could be wrong about Trevor Lawrence. I'm only thinking he's gonna be a bust because of the situation he's in. Same way with Justin Fields. I only think that because of the situation he's in. If Trey Lance was in those two guys' situation, I would say, yeah, 100%, he's going to be the bust because he's just going to be rushed out there, no help, no nothing, yada, yada, yada. You see what happens. I mean, Josh Rosen just thrown out there, no help, no nothing. You see what happens. And obviously the fifth quarterback, Mac Jones. I've already pretty much said a little bit about Mac Jones. He's in the great situation. You have the best coach of all time in the NFL history, and you got Cam Newton. You're backing up Cam Newton. You got two great tight ends. You got a great running back room. You got a great offensive line. You've got improved wide receivers, and obviously the defense is getting everything back. So yeah, he's in a great situation. I don't think he's going to be a flop. I don't think he's going to bust at all. And Mac Jones, you just turn on the film from last year. He had the best film of all the quarterbacks. Obviously, he is limited. He's not mobile. You would want a mobile quarterback, but his pocket presence is amazing. Stepping in the pocket and manipulates the pocket. Great. Feels pressure, everything. I don't think he's going to be a bust. It's going to be interesting to see him versus Tua, the two Alabama quarterbacks. Obviously, I'm an Alabama fan, and I'm not being biased. If I was a GM, Mac Jones was my fifth quarterback probably on the list because of his mobility. If he was more like Joe Burrow in his mobility, yeah, he would have been the second quarterback taken. But because of that, he's not up there. Obviously, he doesn't have the craziest, biggest arm in the world, but I don't think that's a problem. I don't know why people make a big deal out of it. He had the best deep ball accuracy, I believe, in college football last season, the best passer rating too as well. So yeah, and his accuracy, his anticipation, everything was the best out of all the quarterbacks in the class as well. So the Patriots are getting a stud, and I don't think he's going to be a bust. It's just the situation he's in. Bill Belichick, he's going all in, on everything, every position, with all the free signings, everything that he's made. He's showing Cam can lead it. Cam can do it. If Mac is the guy, Mac will do it as well, But whoever gets us to the playoffs, whoever wins us the games is going to be the starting quarterback going forward. Obviously, it's going to be Cam for now, but it's not going to be long before Mac takes over. It'd be great if he sits out a year. That'll be making better. He's the most NFL ready out of all the quarterbacks. That's something else I didn't mention. That compared to Trevor Lawrence, compared to Justin Fields, compared to Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Mac Jones is the most NFL ready. You just look at every single year at Alabama that he's been, from his true freshman year to his redshirt freshman year to his sophomore year, this past year. He's worked with NFL guys all over the place. Brian Daboll, who is the offensive coordinator with the Buffalo Bills, was the offensive coordinator at Alabama during his true freshman year. Obviously, that was the year Tua had his magical national championship comeback in that second half, but he's got that NFL caliber experience. Next year has another guy in Dan Enos and whoever Maryland's head coach is, those guys. And then next year, Steve Sarkisian, 2 years. Steve Sarkisian was in the NFL. He's got all this. Basically, Mac Jones has got all this NFL caliber experience and playbook and the way they run stuff. So he's more NFL ready than all the other guys. And he's learned from Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa. Two quarterbacks are in the NFL right now, starting quarterbacks. So you can't, whatever you want to say about the other guys, this guy has learned from people who have been or are in the NFL. But yeah, that's my video. I know people are going to disagree with me about Trevor Lawrence specifically because, Trevor Lawrence is Trevor Lawrence. I think in 4 or 5 years from now, we're going to talk about another guy named Quinn Ewers and, even more than what we did with Trevor Lawrence, but that'll be in the future. But anyway, you guys let me know what you think down below. I understand you don't agree with me. This is my opinion. I could make the video. I've already been wrong about Justin Herbert. I'll make an apology video about that later. But you guys let me know what you think down below. Do you agree with me or not? Who you think is going to be a bust? Which of these quarterbacks do you think is going to be the best of the bunch? You let me know your opinions and thoughts down below. Make sure to like and subscribe, especially like and comment. That will help YouTube's algorithm so this video can get recommended out there. But please, really appreciate it if you do that. And follow me on Instagram, links down below. And I'll see you on another video soon.